He was once called a god in Hollywood, but widespread sexual abuse allegations against him gave life to the Me Too movement. Movie mogul Harvey Weinstein sentenced to 23 years in jail for rape and criminal sexual acts. Last week, Weinstein's team appealed his conviction, arguing he didn't get a fair trial. The case that led to his downfall featured two women. One of them was Jessica Mann. She met Weinstein when she was 25 years old and hoping to launch a career in the acting world. Last year, she surprised everyone as the star witness in the case against Weinstein. Mann hasn't spoken publicly since the trial.
Tonight, she breaks her silence in an exclusive interview with investigative correspondent Rich McHugh. He joins us now live tonight in the studio with her story. Rich.
Thank you, Marnie and Rudabeh. Her testimony changed the course of the trial against Harvey Weinstein and was the basis for the rape conviction against him. Weinstein, in a statement to News Nation, argued, as he did in the trial, that he and Mann were close friends and had a consensual 5-year relationship. Mann says it was not consensual. It was, in fact, a key question for jurors. What is the legal definition of consent? The jury ultimately found Weinstein guilty, and since that time, Mann has been working to help define consent legally, and it's why she has finally decided to come forward. Jessica Mann, we know you as the woman who testified against and ultimately brought down Harvey Weinstein. How would you describe yourself?
I am an average, everyday person who just wakes up every day and tries to be happy.
In February 2020, a New York jury found Harvey Weinstein guilty of raping Jessica Mann in 2013 and forcibly performing oral sex on another woman, Mimi Halle, in 2006. Weinstein was sentenced to 23 years in prison. After the trial, the podium was yours, so to speak. Everybody in the world wanted to hear from you, and yet you chose to remain silent. Why?
There's so much that I went through just in the trial. It's requiring an extraordinary amount of healing and self-care, processing, finding who I am again. And for me, it wasn't about, oh, I'm now this famous victim and let me run with that. Like, the thought of that appalls me.
At the beginning of the trial, did you believe there was a chance that he would be found guilty?
Yes, I knew it would happen.
You knew it would happen? There was never any doubt during the trial?
I had doubt, I had fear, but you have to understand, I couldn't have faced that if I didn't have this feeling that that's what was gonna happen.
During your testimony, when you're on the stand, were you ever making eye contact with him?
There's a moment that still gives me chills. When I first got on the stand, I had to identify him. So I had to stand up and look and point at him. And at that moment, his eyes were completely black, beady black, and it took my breath away. It shook me to my core.
Mann spent 3 days on the witness stand and faced a grueling cross-examination from Weinstein defense attorney Donna Rotuno.
What is that like?
It's absolutely terrifying. It's the most stressful thing you can ever do. You're on the hook for everything that comes out of your mouth. You're relying on 12 people to hear your perspective and hopefully witness all of these dynamics that comes out in a courtroom and make a fair judgment.
Mann says she completely broke down on the witness stand when it came out in court that she had been sexually assaulted when she was younger. She left the courtroom and could be heard screaming from a back room. And some question whether her emotional collapse would affect the trial.
I was just brutally stretched in every way on that stand. And I just hit a breaking point, and I went into tremendous flashbacks. Everything that I had trapped inside of me just released, and it was so much at once. It was overwhelming. I was on the floor processing this, but to finally vocalize those screams, even though I was in the pain of reliving it, was something that needed to happen. That took that moment for that to happen.
At the close of the trial, Mann read a letter to the judge aloud, explaining her screams that day.
Your Honor, the day my uncontrollable screams were heard from the witness room was the day my full voice came back into my power. Those were the screams that wanted to come out while Harvey was raping me. Those were the screams of a terrified young woman reliving experiences of horrific violence against her body. Those were the screams that will forever haunt those who witnessed me.
Harvey Weinstein has hurt dozens and dozens of people by his sexual, predatory, rapist, violent behavior.
Mr. Weinstein couldn't be stopped when he wanted what he wanted.
When the jury came back with their verdict, what was that moment like for you?
To hear it was a shock. I think I cried, I think I screamed. I just couldn't believe it, you know?
The case that launched the Me Too movement around the world has come to a close in a New York City courtroom.
The message is, this is a big day. This is a new day.
Harvey Weinstein is exactly where he should be now, behind bars.
This is what justice looks like. 20 plus 3 years.
For the first time, I can say I feel a sense of happiness.
I never imagined that I would even get the opportunity to see justice. But I also didn't understand the cost of that. It is worth it in some ways, but there's a big cost.
How are you doing today?
I'm thriving more than I ever thought it was possible to thrive, but that still comes with me working to heal my PTSD, working to feel like a normal person again. I'm seeing that change from the person I was a year ago, this scared person at the trial who was shaking and overwhelmed and crying and just processing like a new birth, everything that happened in this new world for me, to learning how to live again. And it's kind of amazing.
During the trial, the jury asked for the legal definition of the word consent. And since the trial, Mann has been working tirelessly on that very topic.
This is a massive passion of mine. In penal code right now, there's no law that defines consent. Whether someone's innocent, whether someone's guilty, whether I'm relying on a jury, a judge should be able to properly define that. That's what I've been working on to pass this bill.
Today, we will make history in the fight to prevent victims of sexual assault and to ensure that predators can hide no more.
That bill, A6540, introduced last week by New York Assembly member Rebecca Seawright, defines consent as a, quote, freely given, knowledgeable, and informed agreement, obtained without the use of malice such as forcible compulsion, duress, coercion, deception, fraud, concealment, or artifice.
Where do we go post Me Too? A world that defines consent. Just because a woman wore something, just because or man, whatever the gender, someone wore something or drank or went into the hotel room, you know, that is not what's on trial. What's on trial is the malice of the perpetrator. Did he coerce? Did he duress? Or did he have freely given, knowledgeable, and informed consent?
What have you learned about yourself through this whole process?
When you live through something, you just realize our human potential is so much bigger than what we realize. Like, I thought it would kill me, and I'm thriving and alive and moving forward with my life.
You thought the experience itself would kill you.
I have a very real fear that Harvey wants to kill me because I did put him in jail. And I had to face that fear going to trial, because after someone rapes you, what's next? Especially someone whose vengeance I experienced. The mental strain, the emotional strain, the stress, the circus the media put me through. You can become suicidal, you can become so distressed that there are times I didn't know that life could become as full as like happiness and joy that I'm able to create today, being free and having received justice.
Harvey Weinstein has submitted an appeal. He says he did not receive a fair trial and that his constitutional rights were violated. How do you respond to that?
I almost find the situation laughable.
Why is that?
It's just so typical. He's looking for the loopholes, anything he can find, and at this point it's not a surprise. It's the 100+ voices of women who never knew each other, who never spoke, who lived in the dark and hid this shame and dealt with this trauma, attest to the fact that this man is not innocent. So he's delusional.
Do you have anything that you want to say to him?
You're asking that question as if he's a normal human being. Do I have anything to say to a predatory rapist who is convicted, whose numbers are past 100 of women? Never, ever will I ever say anything to that man again. I am finally free from him. I will never look back.
Do you feel free of him?
In some ways, yeah. I know where he's at. He's in prison. But until that man dies, I won't truly be free of him.
And Rich McHugh is joining us in studio tonight following that interview. Rich, as we mentioned, this was the first time Jessica has spoken in an interview publicly since that trial. We can only imagine how difficult it was for her to make that decision to sit down with you after all this.
Yeah, it was truly a year-long conversation. I spoke with her after the trial and tried to see if she would interview, and it was clear to me that her recovery and her emotional recovery was of paramount importance to her, and she is firmly in control. She doesn't have an attorney. She doesn't have a PR person. She is guiding herself through this, and what I learned is that she was going to let us know when she was ready, and it was clear she was not ready for a very long time, and only until recently, when Harvey Weinstein filed his appeal and submitted his appeal last week, I reached back out to her and she said, I think it's time because there's these other things that I want to talk about and I'm ready.
Wow, it's very brave of her to come out and to speak to you like that, and such an incredible interview. Meantime, Weinstein is being indicted in Los Angeles on 11 other counts. She mentioned that she was going to testify against him. Why didn't she? She
made a point to say in our interview that she had more severe charges in LA that she could go to trial with, but because of the trauma of the trial in New York and because there are others in LA, she wanted to give them an opportunity to see justice for themselves, and so she decided not to go forward with the trial in LA.
Wow, a powerful interview, and she has a powerful voice, certainly moving forward and defining consent. Rich, we appreciate your report and the interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.